Hello, everyone. I'm Sign1News anchor Jadeep Gore. Here's a quick look at the top trending stories making headlines today. If you post an interesting comment about this update, we may add it at the bottom of the screen. Today, a Russian court convicted WNBA star Brittney Griner of smuggling drugs with the criminal intent. Griner was accused of trying to smuggle less than 1 gram of cannabis oil in a vape pen inside her luggage back in February. Griner pleaded guilty to drug charges last month. Before the verdict was announced, Griner apologized and asked for leniency, saying she did not mean to break Russian law and that it was an honest mistake. She was then sentenced to 9 years in jail and fined 1 million rubles. That's about $16,000. Griner's lawyers say the court ignored all the evidence they presented and they will appeal the verdict. President Joe Biden said the 9-year sentence was unacceptable and called on Russia to release her immediately. The White House says a possible prisoner swap is in the works that could bring home Griner and Marine Paul Whelan, who's also being held in Russia. Voters in Kansas sent a clear and strong message to the rest of the country about abortion rights. A record-setting 900,000 voters cast their vote on whether lawmakers could ban abortion in the state. A stunning 59% of voters said no. It was the biggest sign yet of the backlash to the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. One voter said, "We don't want the government making our reproductive health care decisions for us." Abortion is currently legal in Kansas up to 22 weeks. Anti-abortion activists in the state say Tuesday's vote is a temporary setback, and they say they will continue to fight. People in Kentucky are trying to rebuild their lives after a week of deadly flooding. But because so many schools, government buildings, and businesses are damaged, it's making it hard for people in some areas to access basic goods and services. First responder facilities are damaged too. Some towns only had one grocery store, and that store is shut down due to flood damage. The governor is letting pharmacies dispense some emergency refills to give people access to medicine. The State Department of Education says it expects 11 districts in 7 counties to delay the start of school. And even buildings that are intact might not have power, which means no air conditioning in the middle of heat wave. As kids head back to school, The concern over COVID has been replaced by a new health concern, monkeypox. Today, the Biden administration announced monkeypox is now a public health emergency. There are more than 6,600 probable or confirmed cases of monkeypox across the U.S. It spreads through close contact. With school getting underway, there's concern that monkeypox could spread in classrooms. Health experts say schools, school districts, as well as colleges and universities should plan now on what to do about monkeypox and keep cleanliness a top priority. To prevent yourself from catching monkeypox, avoid close skin-to-skin contact with people who have a rash that looks like monkeypox. Avoid touching objects that a person with monkeypox has used. And wash your hands often with soap and water, or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. DC Comic fans and the crew of the new Batgirl movie were shocked and disappointed to hear Warner Brothers has decided not to release the movie. The movie was scheduled to be released on HBO Max later this year. The movie starred Leslie Grace in the starring role. Officials with WB said Grace is an incredibly talented actress, and the decision to cancel the movie release is not a reflection of her performance. Warner Brothers is trying to cut $3 billion in costs after the merger of Discovery and Warner Media in April. And the Batgirl film budget had grown from $75 million to $90 million. The next time you complain about having a long day, think about this. People living in the tiny Alaskan town of Utqiagvik enjoyed their first sunset in 83 days. You heard me right, for nearly 3 straight months. The sun was up 24/7. The sun rose on May 10th and just went down on August 2nd. But that's actually normal for this part of the country. Northern Alaska is the only place in the United States that enjoys non-stop sunlight. People living in the area call it midnight sun. And in the winter, the sun goes the other way. It sets in November and doesn't rise again until late January. And it's all because of how the Earth tilts on its axis. Cool. Go grab a cold glass of milk. Today is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. And guess what? Chocolate chip cookies were an accident. That's right. Back in 1937, a woman named Ruth Graves Wakefield was busy in the kitchen of the hotel she and her husband owned. She wanted to mix baker's chocolate into the dough to make a chocolate cookie, but she didn't have any. So she used semi-sweet chocolate chips instead. She thought the chips would melt out evenly throughout the dough, but they didn't. Instead, it created the first cookie with gooey melted chocolate chips in each bite. And the best way to celebrate today is to bake some chocolate chip cookies at home, or do it the easy way and just buy some at the store. Sign1News will be broadcasting updates Monday through Friday. And a reminder, the Sign1News Saturday virtual show team is taking a break for the summer, and we will see you again in the fall. A big thank you to our Sign1News app supporters. You help make this broadcast happen. You can download the Sign1News app by heading to the App Store or Google Play Store on your smartphone. You can also watch on Apple TV, Amazon, and Roku.